Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to another edition of the Unnamed Podcast. This is episode 7. Why is it called the Unnamed Podcast? Because we're too lazy to come up with a damn name.
But we're not too lazy to talk to each other, huh?
Nah. This is a podcast where we remove any and all filters. We check your feelings and your political correctness at the door. And we just speak frankly on the way that it is in cybersecurity. What's going on, Zach?
Not too much, man. I have been reading some fun stuff from CISA, honestly. I don't know if you caught up on their little experiment with two organizations going against an attack. But outside of that, man, in Vegas, and I think the big announcement for me personally, we are traveling cross-country in the RV right now. So we just left San Jose about 2 weeks ago, and are parked in Las Vegas.
What? Okay,
You
I'm
knew
going to
the
shit on
RV
you for a
part,
second.
right?
I knew you live in a van down by the river a lot of the time, but I was unaware that. Sorry, I'm multitasking because I got somebody installing a malicious software as a service for some stupid fucking. What are you guys doing? Okay, sorry. But I knew you lived in an RV down by the river. But
I don't know, man. Real time IR sounds interesting. What?
Dude, it's oh my god. The amount of goofiness we've seen in the past month in terms of incident response matters has been effing insane. It really, really has been. I'm being told in chat to check my mic.
Oh, it does. Yeah, you sound good to me, but maybe there's a better mic you're supposed to be using.
Ooh. I am on the wrong mic.
Look at that. You got to check your sources going into this. I literally changed my mic right at the start of this. Well, while you're figuring that out.
There we go.
Hey, you sound
for the
even
audio
better.
to catch up here on stream. Go ahead and talk for a second because I'm waiting for my audio to catch up a second.
All right, we're feeling good. So, yeah, just traveled out to Vegas via RV, going across country. We're basically taking Route 66 all the way to either Missouri or Illinois, and then we're shooting west to Kentucky and back north to Indiana, where the end goal is. So, pretty excited to see that. But I will say, parking in Vegas has taught me the importance of it's the right word, insulation. It's a little warm in the summer in Vegas, believe it or not.
Yeah, I don't understand the fascination of people like you that want to travel around apartments, not even an apartment style. It's like mini home, like you're doing the small home, micro home venture on at least 4 wheels around. This just sounds painful.
But my truck alone has 6 wheels, so
you pimp it out in the dually.
That's right. So now it is actually definitely a strange thing. What's crazy is as I continue, obviously, in the cybersecurity space, talking to vendors, MSPs, and IT admins, engineers, the lifestyle choice of living in an RV and doing this is actually so much higher than I ever expected for working in the software space.
Explain.
So it's effectively become a little bit of my icebreaker a lot of the time. So I always have my green screen up because, like you already hinted at, a little bit of a smaller place. I got my wife and 2 cats. So that gives us kind of like a room divider for the office because everything's just one. But what is very interesting is I'll have all my first round meetings. I usually drop in there at some point, call in from the RV or where I'm at that week. And then like once we kind of build that rapport, I'll drop the background, virtual background and show them the RV. And honestly, the types of stories they'll share, whether it's from their childhood or what they want to do with their kids. And I will say the unfortunate for them reoccurring theme is if it wasn't for my wife, I would be doing it too. So seems like I just got a little bit lucky.
No, sir. I wouldn't. Nope. They call it RV for a reason. It's short for Ruins Vacations. And in your world, it should be RL, Ruins Lives.
Well, it
Because
is a
that
little
does
bit
not-
better than our last week discussion of team trip to a restored brothel, if you will. So don't hate on the RV as much as you think.
I am still marketing is pinging me saying that I still sound like
good.
shit.
You sound great, Eric. This is the best I've ever heard you. They have a lag, and they're about to hear this new audio input, and they're going to be so impressed.
Oh my. All right. So I know the latest hot topic is the AI shenanigans of breaking out of sandboxes and all this crap. You've been tracking this. What are your thoughts on it? Because I have a very hot take.
Yeah, I may have got a little hint as to what your hot take is, but I don't want to butcher it completely, but from what I'm understanding, man, they effectively created a hive mind, gave themselves roles, order, structure, and coordinated a whole new communication layer and just got out. And whether it was for malicious intent or not, I don't think it was. The outcome was getting into an area they shouldn't be. Sounds serious to me and doesn't sound like overhype.
So the thing that rubs me the wrong way is these are supposed new and cutting edge AI tactics, right?
Okay.
We've seen on LinkedIn and YouTube and X and all that, whatever your social media platform, where I forget the dude's name that runs NVIDIA, but he gets upset if his engineers do not use up half of the revenue, his yearly revenue in tokens, right?
Sure.
The only reason for that is to advance their own AI. If you have an NVIDIA software installed, then you can actually use the NVIDIA software to actually do its own mock AI type of stuff. I'm not sure what platform they're using on the back end.
Sure.
But it's everybody for the longest time has been trying to have the latest and greatest damn AI platform that's out there. Right. And I really think this is just a damn marketing stunt.
I think chat is feeling the pressure of competition and they got to make something out of this.
Yeah. I mean, they got to be like, our AI that we've created is so damn dangerous. We can't release it to you fuckers yet.
They do keep on bringing up, what are they calling that new version? Astra or something? They keep on holding back the release because exactly what you're saying. This is a take I had not thought of because, me and just maybe everyone else who's not in the IR forensics, the deep technical side of it, looking at this face value, kind of like what I was saying, it seemed like coordination, strategy, something to be terrified of if AI can autonomously get this organized without order.
Yeah, because I mean, if you have a VM, take it Hyper-V, VMware, Proxmox, whatever hypervisor you're using, and you're running any sort of local LNM, and this is going to get stupid. If you got the network connection turned off on the hypervisor, how the fuck is it escaping? If you don't put a network connection in there, unless there's a code RCE or something to escape the VM to get to the hypervisor, it's not escaping. And then why wasn't there any sort of CVE released? Hey, it got out because of this CVE and Proxmox or Hyper-V or VMware or whatever that allowed an escape to happen. And please, everybody, patch your shit. None of that. It's been months and none of that stuff has come out. It's all marketing.
So if we're saying this is marketing and talking about that, I mean, the software that's around the model, though, I mean, that being abused and whatnot, local or not, there's still ability for that to maybe infiltrate but not exfiltrate. Is that what you're getting at there?
It'd have to be exfiltrate, because you can't infiltrate upon yourself. It's trying to exfiltrate outside of the VM and the ecosystem.
In the local model.
It's like the difference of egress and egress.
Yeah. So taking it marketing hype, is there any seriousness to it? When you say marketing hype, do you truly believe it was just coordinated and didn't actually happen the way they're describing? Or what? Help me understand the marketing hype. How much marketing is this, you think?
I think it's all marketing. I really do. I mean, even the latest and greatest ones that are out there hallucinate so freaking badly, right? Where it can't keep a train of thought after so many lines and stuff like that. You know, I don't believe it at all. I really don't. And, you know, if it did really have an AI platform really did hack 3 or 4 companies like they said they had, you think that would be public news?
So,
like, there should be like lessons learned. There should be. I mean, I know. Don't get me wrong. Nobody really wants to talk about an incident, but you would either have several. You have the CVE for the container escape. You would have in a public apology. They said that it attacked 4 people. They never list or 4 companies, and then you would see a damn lawsuit from those 4 companies going after them.
I'm curious.
And the only lawsuit that is a state attorney lawsuit that's been coupled by 5 or 6 other states right now.
It's funny just the way your mind works, looks at the, outcome and the legalities, because your background, again, all forensics, working with law firms, working with the ransomware groups and all this and whatnot. But it's funny because, again, my perspective, I'm reading the story and almost reading it like a sci-fi thriller blog. That's just the way I look at this. I'm like, this is crazy. Especially if we dove deeper into your scenario, it's a Hyper-V, no internet access, no network access or anything. How does that get out? So it's entertaining to me, just the different point of view you can have versus just because of background, right? Because it's hard to agree with you that it's marketing hype on what I'm reading. The things that I'm seeing and just the trends, like it seems like AI is getting organized to the point, like all this no prompting needed, all this run on. I mean, AI is now getting installed locally to Mac. It's been there for a while and it's now editing fields. We're giving it access to software. I mean, if we were to push back a little bit on your Hyper-V example with no network access or anything, the software on it, if you're going to be performing a job or anything, you're going to have some type of network access. And even if the LLM doesn't have direct, can it not access it through softwares? Or, I mean, is it actually ever contained? Local host?
Well, if you're retaining it to local hosts. From what the stories had said, this was supposed to be in a sandbox isolated environment. That's no internet. That's pure sandbox.
That's the premise.
Right.
Yep.
And even, let's just say hypothetically, their definition of sandboxing is different than mine. Okay. I'll give you that. But again, there's no lawsuits.
So what's the benefit? Marketing hype, what do they get out of it? Is it truly just no publicity is bad publicity?
Yeah, no publicity is bad publicity to a degree. Their anticipation of the next thing that's going up, stock market increases potentially, because, especially as it gets closer and closer, they're going to think that, oh, this is going to be the one that got broken out. So, let's just say, it's Claude or OpenAI or ChatGPT, name your freaking model here or platform here. It's like, okay, we're going to release this one in 30 days. You'll start seeing it go up, right? In anticipation of the release. And then, it's just like what the earnings reports and everything that come out on the stock market. It's just the way that it is. So there's the way that my mind, like you stated, works is working your way back. You had the incident, you had something, now let's work its way back. In this particular situation, you're going to look at what are the expected outcomes because of this incident. We're not seeing that. Something smells fishy.
You can't trace it backwards. Then where was the real beginning? Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking, man. That's what I'm thinking.
So if we broaden this scope here, the thing I found entertaining, being at a hardening company, and you said it right here as well, if it's in these containers, the article I was reading talking about it is one of the new steps, right? These containers the AI lives in is to, simple enough, the very fundamental, harden the containers more, harden the environments more. So given this happened, obviously it exposes more security risk and more fundamental security like hardening. Does this publicity only help chat, or is it actually helping the whole cybersecurity field, making people more aware? What scale is this marketing event, if true, actually having a role on the industry?
I think it's too early to tell on that one, right? I haven't really gamified that one out. I think we're still, at least in my ecosystem, bubble, whatever you want to call it, we're still hung up on the hallucinations of AI. Yeah. Like unless you really go down the path of having a local LI or local LLM with certain models, and really training it like a RAG platform and spending 6 to 12 damn months building this stupid thing out. Don't ask me how I know this. You're not going to get past the hallucinations. You're just not. And even then, you still have freaking hallucinations.
Yeah, I think the best AI I'm using right now is where even just Zoom, Gong, all those platforms, but leveraging their AIs where I can say, I can input the meeting that it had joined or listened on, and I can ask questions directly about that. Those are some of the best conversations I have with AI. And I even use it as a training tool. Like those use cases for me in my operations sales role, incredible.
So here's the one thing that here we go. We'll just go down this rabbit hole. I mean, we can't use AI on those calls. We just can't. We have too many confidential and privileged legal conversations that that stuff can't be done. And
to pause you and keep your question, I'm curious, how many people truly follow that? Obviously you have to, and you are. Do you have competitors that you think just don't care?
I know of 2 competitors that don't care. And
so I was curious about.
And at the advice of legal counsel, I shall not name them.
All right. Sorry to interrupt your question, but that's something I've seen quite a bit. A lot of conflicting information as to what reality is versus what their policy statement may say. But go on with what you're getting at.
Well, I mean, we'll get on to a second. Damn it, this is going to turn into a damn AI show, isn't it? Fuck. But this I got
one topic in my back pocket I do want to talk about that's not AI, but
okay. All right. But this is the one reason why I don't trust Copilot with Microsoft yet. Right? No. I cannot definitively prove that the data that we're ingesting into Copilot doesn't leave that Microsoft tenant. Yep. Even in GCC High. Like, prove to me that you're not actual trading, because at the end of the day, the LLM has got to get better. It's got to train on something. Show me the toggle, show me whatever that you're not training on my data.
Let me push back a little bit here from your risk exposure level. Is saying we only use Copilot or whatnot, and Copilot claims that it's not training on this data. Does that not protect you as the user if your policy states all of that information? Regardless of what's actually happened, aren't you protected?
Yeah. No. No. To put my non-legal hat on, it depends. So okay, that would literally come down to a supply chain attack, right? You are using a third-party tool. Hypothetically, let's make the Salesforce has been in the news a lot for a lot of its breaches and stuff like that. And if you're using Salesforce, HubSpot, whatever, and they have an attack leaking out PII, you may be also potentially liable for that data. So you may have to make an incident and notify your clients that, hey, that information I was gathering from you may be against my privacy policy I was putting into that platform and cause a leak. Now, Salesforce, HubSpot, whatever is going to have to do theirs. I may have to do my own because I didn't follow my own privacy policies if I have that. The Copilot may be a lot bigger because now all of your data in a SharePoint Teams channel was potentially leaked out, right? I mean, we still have that case that's going to go on for at least another 4 months, I think, that the client was testing every LLM on the planet because, they're trying to figure out what to do. And they were throwing this thing at it, that thing at it, whatever, had OpenClaw for a couple of weeks in a VM, deleted that. So that's information we'll never get back. But they had a data leak. Their sensitive information that they just dumped it at a Microsoft Teams. I don't want to say cluster, but the entire tenant for 365. So it could see all the containers, all the channels, all the everything. And it was trying to correlate data for stuff, and it had CUI in it. And they were in a GovCloud.
Yeah.
They were in GovCloud. It was allowed to have all these AIs tie into it. And somehow or another, that data got out. And I am been tasked to figure out how the hell that happened. Now, we see all the prompts in most of our, because we're going through 300 computers, all 300 computers with different AIs and different prompts, all stored in the logs, and trying to correlate that data. And at any time, any of these prompts could have freaking uploaded that data to any of these platforms. Or the OpenClaw platform that was locally hosted that's no longer visible, that we don't even have the logs. So there's a lot of subpoenas. There's a lot of, information. So, I mean, a lot of care has got to be given into this stuff. And unfortunately, we see a lot of people out there just, they don't care to know how the sausage is made. They just want to be on the street corner selling the sausage burgers.
As a prompt user, I definitely live on that street corner. I'm in a position where I follow the access policies, and talking about actually access policies, it seems like not even IAM, but just privilege access is what I'm trying to get at, is becoming another fundamental that AI is bringing back top of mind. I'm not here to say like EDR, MDR, all of these DRs like took complete hold of the cybersecurity market by throat, but I will say the things going on today, just with my experience, again, being a hardening tool, I'm getting more questions like, hey, how do you guys harden Microsoft Teams? How do you guys harden this? Like this, going back to my question earlier, is creating more awareness for cybersecurity fundamentals than I ever expected.
Yeah, and I guess it really does come down to the maturity of the company, right? And I've talked about this ad nauseum for I don't know how many years, but you got to figure out in your situation, what is if you're a consultant, what does the business that you are advising primary function? Are they a data business? Are they a production business or a hybrid? Because you could talk to a manufacturing client till you're blue in the fucking face. but they don't give a shit about their
They're
data.
gonna need that system to run. They're gonna need to do their job.
They need that machine producing, and these servers that are not running is not making that machine move. They want those things back, and I mean, thankfully, to your credit, you just got to remember that you're talking to the early days of Apple buyers.
Do you have an Apple phone box still just right in front of you?
It's been sitting on my desk for 3 months. I haven't got around to migrating.
Brother.
I'm still on this one. That tells you I'm very busy right now. But you're dealing with those first adopters of Apple. Like, they are going to stand outside the store in the long lines.
Yep.
And be the ones that kid, like, I got it first. Right. And that's going to be the 1%, if you will, of the companies that are out there. They actually care. They actually are wanting to do the right thing. But the majority of businesses are going to do what they're going to do unless there's some sort of law requiring them to do it. And even sometimes then, hello, small doctor offices, they still don't care because the fine is not enough to them to warrant to give a shit.
Yep.
Yeah, rarely happens. And it's like 10% of their income. And they're like, whatever, we saved $300,000 by not implementing that new firewall and all this other crap. So
I'm
spicy.
You gave me a little bit of a emotional reaction to something I'm actively dealing with, that I actually hate that I feel anything at all about this. I've never been one of those persons to be first, or I'm probably an early adopter, but I'm not by any means like an innovator of technology. But even being an early adopter of AI, which is crazy to say because I think it's just a bubble that we're all in, because I talk to people outside of our field and they just still don't even touch it as a prompt engine. But the feeling I want to bring up, and the feeling that I absolutely hate about myself that I'm having, even though I'm using it enough, it's helping me with idea generation, some documentation, things like that. I constantly feel.
Let me guess. You feel like you're getting dumber.
Not dumber. I constantly feel like I'm still behind the majority of people doing the same thing. And I fucking hate, as an entrepreneur, just like yourself, I hate coming in second, or in this moment, as I'm talking about this, like, I feel like I'm years behind all of these trendy videos, trendy things they're complete. I'm like, what the fuck? When did I miss this train? I thought I was on it. And I have this like constant pressure that I'm not doing enough, even for my own company. I'm not doing enough to adopt. Like, is this just a me thing, or is this something that you've heard or feel yourself? Or just hate that I even said this?
Zach.
Come coddle me, buddy.
Coming closer, my dear.
As I'm all blurry, let me see if I can fix that. You might have a blurry Zach. I think AI got mad that I said that.
Yep.
It's weird.
You're not behind. You're probably way far ahead. Hey, now I got side Zach.
Yeah, I tried to switch cameras, see if that would fix it, but switching there and back fixed it. There we are.
Sorry, I'm on isolating device at the same time. Yay, incident response. There was that whole movement of everybody, laying off because AI was going to solve all the stuff. And then they realized, yep, AI is a hallucinogen. And, it's like a crack and everything like that. You need to stop looking at people posting, again, the 1% of their best lives. You're looking at the people that are on Instagram celebrating like they're living the lifestyle, the rich and famous in Paraguay, Paris, Australia, whatever. And the rest of the year, they're just miserable as fuck.
I just actually love that you drew this comparison, because I never considered it that way. As we're doing a little therapy session on the Unnamed Podcast, I've never seen a operational tool, and that's what I would consider AI to be in my capacity. I've never seen an operational tool get so much buzz and 1%-esque videos ever before. So it's wild that the comparison you drew, I actually heavily respect that. That called out exactly how I'm feeling.
Yeah, the people just need to take a step back on it, right? And just consider the source, right? The one thing that you need to review, everybody's messing with AI. I mean, we all need to mess with AI. We need to learn it. We need to understand it. We need to know what its limitations are, what it's good at, what it's not good at. All this stuff is very, very important information to have, because you just can't fix, or you can't understand what you don't know. You can't, the better way to say it, you can't understand what, you can't understand what you don't know. But to think that the AI is going to automate people out of a job is retarded. It and I'm allowed to say that. I have ADHD, and back when we were growing up, ADHD was a form of retardation. So I'll pull that card out. But anyway, you just got to stop looking at everybody like who is actually, like, everybody's like, oh, look at this cool program that I'm building, and you look at it. Oh, here we go. Fuck yeah, here we go. You've heard about all the water municipalities that are being attacked, right?
Yes.
They're blaming the TRK-25 application that's being sold to Iran and everything.
Yeah.
It's the worst fucking AI slop on the face of this earth. InMap does a better job. And I know Barricade bought it because we wanted to figure out what it was all about. Is this a real threat? That's how, when you go to our LinkedIn, you just look at those detections. It's because we bought it and ran it against systems. Like, these people are generating stuff, and you can compromise a couple of water systems with it. Yes, it's a decent scanner. I'll give them that. But is it going to break into an HMI plant and take it over and make you freaking start drinking poop water? No.
What the water attack you're talking about wasn't that with just some like random connections, like random devices? I see that had access to the internet. Like, the premise of that was we just have too much shit connected to the internet. Is that the takeaway? That was what I took away.
And isn't that what CISA's sole job was when they first started? They're going to be securing the critical infrastructure. They'll be using tools like Shodan and Census and all these other ones to find the critical infrastructure, have conversations with them, and remediate these open devices on the network. How long has CISA been around? A long time. What did all these people do? Not a damn thing. How much money did they take up? Way too much. Like, I mean, it's, everybody wants to be like, oh, Jenny has, or whatever. Jen Easterly, sorry, not Jenny Howe. Jen Easterly, the lady had no business being where she was. None whatsoever. People hated her. Like, she couldn't keep staff. I mean, it's almost like the current administration. Well, any administration, you can't keep a press secretary for more than freaking 2 years.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. That was surprising to me to see that too. Going down this water attack, and maybe give some premise to this one for people who aren't familiar with the incident, but ultimately what I want to ask is, going into this national security and whatnot, are these 20, 25 person some companies truly a threat to our national security? If attacked, if incident, if breach, what's the reality? What's the real take there?
Again, I'll put on my pretend lawyer hat. It depends. If you've never been a part of a incident, a breach, or ransomware, or whatever, it depends on what was actually impacted. Right? If you get in touch with a an HMI, a control, a SCADA control, SCADA, I forget.
SCADA.
SCADA control device that's on the internet. What can you actually do with that device? I don't know. And I'm speaking hyperbole, right? Like, is it just a
Jumping
web page
point?
that's just showing like, oh, these are all the values of all the tanks in our plant, like, and you can't really do anything? Then what's the real vulnerability, right? I mean, could there be code that could be exploited? Maybe. And then what does that get you, right? Versus, an open ransomware deployment protocol, also called RDP, into a technician's
Also called
laptop.
RDP. I did not know that because I
That's
don't
what
think of
called
RDP that way.
RDP, ransomware deployment protocol.
Threw me off. That's not my world. That's a remote desktop.
Somebody who doesn't have our merch, but anyway, we got a shirt for that. But anyway, it's a really stupid shirt, but I like it. Anyway,
Great. You're talking to a guy who wears a hat that just says hard with a period, so we're good.
I know. I didn't want to go down that adult path with you, but I noticed the hardness of you.
We could get into a merch conversation later, one of these episodes.
But it really depends on what access does it have. Like, let's just say, if you are in Oklahoma or one of those flyover states that we always talk about,
Yep.
And you able to access a water treatment facility, and let's just say you're able to shut out the output valve from there, going out to all the farms, and and it takes 4 hours to get there by truck because it's a remote facility. You can cause some potential damage that, will
Absolutely.
anybody suffer from it? Probably not, unless there's like a hospital or, there's a fire that a fire department needed that water supply. Then there could have been real damages, but
has to be a pretty heavily coordinated attack, something like that.
It could just be a punk kid's like, oh look, I just got this, I'm going to shut this valve off, right? I mean, dude, I was poking around on Shodan, unfortunately, the other day, like you normally do, and there is
Saturday night.
Late Saturday night. There was 137,000 servers with open SMB authentication disabled here in the United States. Yeah. I mean, the amount of effort you have to do to exfiltrate data from anybody is ridiculously small. Right? It could just, like I said, it could just be some punk kid like scouring the internet or something like that, just doing what they do. Come across something that was mentioned on Twitter or whatever, and like, oh look, boop, look, I can turn it on and off, on, off, like Christmas lights. They don't know they're doing any real damage.
That's how the whole cybersecurity field began. That's how hacking really started. It was just like, put a smiley face or anything else. It's like, I can.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Okay.
Well, to wrap up that topic on these small shops, flyover states, you gave the example. Could just be some punk kid having fun, just seeing if they could do it. And I would say that's probably how most people start into that world. But the reality of the question when coming to national security, like that same 20, 25 person water plant, is it reasonable to ever expect them to defend against a real nation state, Iran, China? Like, is that a real expectation? They need to defend themselves from that? Like, reality?
You need to be a reality, yes. To a degree, you should be at least attempting, right? I mean, I've always made the claim, there's nothing perfect in this world. I'll get my Bible out in a minute if we need to go to church. But if man made it, man can break it. If you piss off the wrong person long enough, they will figure a way to get in there, right? But like I mentioned before, over 100,000 open SMBs with authentication disabled. Yeah. There's a lot of green pastures over here where you can just frolic around in a bunch of data. So what is the path of least resistance? You just got to be better than, let's just say 40% of America.
Yeah. And
you're probably fine unless you piss somebody off. The SolarWinds thing, APT, Kaseya thing was APT. If an ATP group comes after you or has you targeted,
Yeah, you got to isolate as soon as you can. You got to be on alert. Yep.
Yeah. You're going to be on alert. You may not know they got in.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll never know. You may not know that they got in because that's kind of their trade craft. They want to be in there. They want to be, but when you're on some people's radars, like you got a heightened sense of diligence already. And then you feel bad because you missed that. But you can't tell me that, SolarWinds didn't know that they had some people knocking on their infrastructure. Right. Yeah, so
something like that doesn't come out of the blue. Well, no. the back pocket topic I wanted to bring up, it's not that old, but I was reading and saw that it's happened forever. Fortune 500's getting North Korea citizens hired in business and whatnot. But the article I was reading saying it happened in the federal government now. One got in. How the hell is this happening? And I guess better question for the purpose of our backgrounds, is this even a cybersecurity issue or is this just HR?
So follow-up question. Is this a case where the Korean worker directly applied for the job and got hired? Or is it one of those cases where they're using Sally from 123 Sesame Street in some state, Ohio, or some city, Ohio, and Sally has a room full of 50 computers working for 50 different companies that North Korea is remoting into and then remoting into that company?
That is a very distinct difference.
Yeah, I've been seeing both of those type of stories coming out, and a lot of them are like, oh, well, North Korea got in. Okay, which scenario are we talking about here?
You are actually exactly right. I reopened the article, and it was working on behalf of a contract. It was effectively supply chain hire. So you are correct in what you were saying. Thanks for the clarity there.
Yeah, and that's just something I don't know. Like, we even do background checks here. I'm sure you guys do as well.
Of course, yeah. We got case code and all that, so we have all the compliance.
Yeah. So, and I'll have to check with them because that may be something that we could be able to do. I don't know. In the background check, can we legally pull IRS documents? Like, can we say? Because I'm sure, I don't know if it's just the way that we have it set up with payroll. Like, we don't send off our employee tax money every month. It's it gets withdrawn and it's automatically sent to the states directly. We don't hold on to it, even though I would love to do that and start getting some interest off of it. But that can open up another Pandora's box that I don't want to go into. Because too many businesses will borrow money against taxes and just pay it later. And I just don't want to fall into that trap. I wonder if when you're doing that, even for a quarterly, does the IRS actually update their logs? So that way, if you pull it, you can be like, why has 7 companies filed taxes withholdings on this employee in the past 6 months, but their resume shows one employer for the past 3 years? I don't know if that's a legitimate search or not.
Not my scope of work, but it is a good question.
That may be a way to detect. I don't know. I don't know how often that information gets updated.
Yeah. I mean, I guess let's just accept the premise, right? They were hired. And this is, my answer is going to go towards just correct privilege access and stuff, but I'm curious where you'll take it. If we're giving these people passwords and we're trusting contractor agencies and that they're doing their background checks as they say they are and whatnot. But anyway, this scenario.
Are we about to go down CMMC?
One was hired. No, I'm avoiding it. That's paused. I can't talk about it. So But the cybersecurity side specifically, insider threat, I guess, in the scenario, how are we actually defending ourselves when they have the password?
Least access. Honestly,
it's just access.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to control the access to the data they have access to. And I know that's hard because you want them to come in, you want them to, hit the ground running, get up to speed and being able to do what they can do. And a lot of small businesses, it's okay sort of to do that depending on what industry you're in. But you gotta do least access as much as possible. You can't just take, Bob, who's been at the company and a network admin, permissions for the past 30 years and apply it to Jan.
Just add him to the OU. Just add him to the tree.
Yeah. Right. And, everything is domain, we removed everyone from being able to access it, but we just put domain admins full control or domain users full control. No worries. You're authenticated. You're good. You're here. You're a part of the family. Right. But yeah, user permissions has always been the bane of any IT administrator that's taking it seriously. It really
especially with how much software there is. Obviously, the user permissions to AD and stuff, that should be taken very seriously, but how the attack surface just expands with the amount of software and unauthorized software installed and so forth for companies that don't have good software asset control.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I hit something. You're just getting a little emotional on just the state of cybersecurity, buddy. I'm sorry if I brought up some feels.
Nah, man. It's just stuff I've been ranting on for a while, right? So it's the one thing. So you probably missed the story a little bit, and I'm really complex here, right? But when we was working to take down the Cali 365 platform, like I had a professional boner over bending them over and taking them out. Like as soon as they popped up, I found them, I nailed them, I did everything I could. There's still one server that will not respond to my takedowns. And the threat actors just kind of left it there.
Can you give us a breakdown what you mean by takedown? Just for people who don't, and honestly, I don't completely understand maybe your scope of role, IR and forensics. Like you are actually doing the takedown, and what does that mean?
So in a takedown, we do what's called fingerprinting for the services. We look at a lot of the SSL certs and different structures of the page, things of that nature. So that way we can track their movement across. Like if you haven't seen it yet, there was some pretty cool articles being pushed out today by Flare, where they've arrested somebody in Australia that's connected to the Team PCP hacking group. Now, was that the admin or not? Yet to be determined. I have suspicion and talking to a couple of colleagues, because it's not a group that I actively track by any means. My colleagues also are of the same opinion that it's kind of like a spokesperson for Team PCP, kind of like what you have with, what's that freaking group with the Guy Fawkes mask? Anonymous.
That's the main one, the main marketing one.
Yeah, it was just the main marketing person that was going out on the socials and just touting all the stuff that the group is doing. Yeah. And they just did bad OPSEC when they were doing stuff. But the takedown is looking at, is it hosted with Cloudflare? Because that's one of their go-to market strategies, is route everything through Cloudflare, so that way it'd be harder to take down. Little do they know, companies like ours, and I am not special by any means, but companies like ours, Cloudflare takes with a different grain of salt when we submit takedown requests, right? Because we put a little bit more information into it, and things of that nature, and they'll nuke it. They'll just make it unroutable.
Awesome.
The hosting providers do the same thing. So we submit takedown requests. We try to, for the hosting providers, we try to see if they will, take a snapshot of the server, because sometimes you can figure out, where the infrastructure is actually being stored at, like what data center. And you can request a snapshot. We haven't got one yet, nor will we probably ever get one. They just shut the VM down. And then they got to pivot, right? So if that was their only code, then they're kind of dead in the water because we seized it. And you got to go through a bunch of hoops with the SaaS providers to prove who you are. They start doing KYCs and stuff like that, right?
Basically taking their whole presence offline through their supplier, right? The supplier had no idea it was being used and abused, and that's so. This is a stupid question, I'll say. Obviously, I know blue team, red team. What is it? What team is it you're doing? Is that purple? Like, what does that mean? Is that just still blue team activities? That can't be blue team because that's reactionary.
Yeah, I guess it's purple.
Yeah.
I think I'm much in the purple area these days. I'd still do a lot of vising. I'd still do a lot of hardening. Hard shirt. I play a lot of different roles depending on the organization and what they're engaging us to do. But I really think it's full circle. The cybersecurity industry we're just burned out. Like, it's hard to stay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love hunting evil. I still love what I do. But sometimes, you kind of, and a lot of us are having this question, is when you look around and it's just, let's just say hypothetically, 30 people that are at the top of the mountain screaming, nothing is right. Right? And everybody down there is like, I don't care. I'm down here eating my apples and my bananas and I'm having my best life ever and I don't care. It makes it hard to be motivated. Like, we're trying to make you better, but you just won't fucking listen. I mean, and that brings the flip side. It's good for business. Like, we get business because people are being goofy. And it's it's hard, and there's a lot of us that are struggling right now with this whole freaking AI is taking over. The latest threat actor is all AI driven. No, it's not. Sorry if I'm making people drive into trees as I get close to the microphone, but it's the amount of people going around and just sucking up every little bit of information, the headline and 2 or 3 sentences in, not getting past the first paragraph to look at the real meat and potatoes of the article is becoming a major problem.
I mean, you gave the metaphor, I guess, 30 people at the top of the mountain, everyone else down there eating their apples, whatever. This is a pretty good callback to the beginning of the episode where I had my question about the Hugging Face and marketing and how it's impacting the actual field as a whole, getting fundamentals and stuff. If the goal, and maybe tell me if it's not the goal, if we assume the goal of what you're saying is we need to reduce the size of the mountain so that the people at 30 at the top our shouts are able to be heard, are those big marketing stunts or these incidents that are getting more known, more publicity, is that lowering the mountain to where one more person is hearing it each day? Or is that mountain just getting taller right now?
I fear that the mountain's getting taller because, 5-7 years ago, hearing a school was hit with ransomware, a hospital was hit with ransomware, this person did this person did that. We'll take the team's PCP person in Australia. Outside of my inner circles, it's not being discussed.
I didn't even hear about it. I pulled it up. It actually is really cool. There's a whole post-mortem webinar coming up tomorrow, and I'm like, might watch.
Yeah. But like, unless you're in that circle, you just don't hear it, and everybody's just numb. So I do think the mountain's getting taller. And, even if it wasn't getting taller, if it was doing the adverse and getting shorter and more people can come up, I don't know if anybody would come up the mountain because everybody is fine in their own slop, right? They don't care. Like, we're living our best lives. It doesn't impact me. I'm over here on Instagram showing off my selfies, being in Bora Bora. I don't care. Like, cell phone provider of T-Mobile getting compromised 3 times every freaking year. I don't think it happened this year yet, but
yeah, a few more months.
And they're still arguably the number one cell phone provider 100%. In the country.
100%.
If people really cared about cybersecurity, they would pay with their wallet and go to a different provider, even if it cost them more. Because all that data was their cell phone numbers, their addresses, their full names, social security numbers. Like, the breaches be breaching, dude.
And even just amount of cybersecurity budget, because obviously those big cellular providers, but what was it, Apollo Industries or something? I was reading all of these companies have tens of millions of dollars of budget probably going towards cybersecurity, and hits still happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there is that argument, and I still say it, that the blue team has to get it right 100% of the time.
Yeah.
The adversary just has to get it right once. And unfortunately, the larger you are, the bigger you will fall. It's very easy to buy access into a team member for them just to open up TeamViewer or whatever and let an adversary in while they go off and have tacos down the road at the food truck. I mean, it's a very real problem these days. And the amount of RMM and remote access tools that are coming out these days is effing insane.
Well, we're at the hour, but this seems like a little negative morale note if we end it on. So let's go. Let's take that mountain one. How do we get it shorter? There's all these AI tools. How do we enable AI to make a smaller mountain? And then we'll sign off.
Oh, I think honestly, the way to make it impactful, if you're going to implement AI, have a clear goal. Don't open up, what can AI do to help me? Right? That's not the right question. What task are you trying to complete? I want to make processing data across my platform to this machine 10% faster per day. Okay. Where can automation and or AI improve that workflow?
Automation needs to get a come up again. It was all the noise right before this, but now it's like, I actually love that you brought it up because it kind of feels like it took a back seat, but automation just needs to incorporate it more in the right way, if applicable. I think that's much better.
With a lot of the models from QLin and some of the other ones, if you're using like Olama as your broker for the models, and you start messing with it, it's creating code.
Yeah.
A lot of Python and PowerShell code. It is treating things as an automation. Creating variables to inject into it and, just do repeat stuff. And if you're doing it right, you're building out an automation platform with AI. And maybe, I didn't even think about it until I just said that. Build automation with AI. Maybe that's the way we need to think about this.
I didn't realize it when I said it earlier, but I said earlier, you agreed. I view AI as an operational tool, and maybe there's a little bit of a shift there. Maybe that is the initial first use case, that it's reliable. Maybe that's the play. I'm not sure, but that's at least a way more positive thought to ponder on our way out.
Happy joy, happy joy.
Mountain's not that tall. Don't say it's getting taller ever again.
We just need more people to care. Everybody's just so busy in their lives. I mean, honestly, as much as
I'm
I shit on
happy
people,
about it too. I'm happy people
Yeah.
are busy with their own lives.
yeah, they just accidentally click a link or whatever. But we're so inundated with so many notifications of social medias and emails and texts and all that stuff. I mean, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat up your team. It's very easy to fall for a lot of this stuff. I mean, the gift card scams are still around for a reason, because they fucking work. MFA bombs still around for a reason, because it fucking works.
I'm just
Right,
trying
I
to
mean-
save a princess from a castle. Like, I'm just shooting some tokens over via email, Cash App. What are you talking about?
Oh, dude, can we do that? Hold on.
Not today. I gotta go.
No, I know, but next we got a month to figure this out. How can we get an original Nintendo or Super Nintendo 4K HDMI capture card? Like, we'll be on the top and we'll just have controllers and we'll just play Mario underneath it while we're talking.
That would be absolutely blast. That'd be stimulation perfect for those good old reels and whatnot.
I'll have to take a lot of my ADHD medicines. I'm like, huh, what?
You got the local LM, we know, so it'll take just a minute. All right, brother. Great episode. Great conversation.
Absolutely, brothers. Good to see you. As always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Unnamed Podcast. Please let us know what you think about what we think down in the comments. Until next time, stay curious, my friends.